Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War with the Pirate Oberals mod. Last time around, we beat the Russians at Moscow, and I also believe that we beat the Ottomans in a small battle here in Ukraine, or next to the mountains here. We also had a naval battle where we beat an enemy. It's been a while since I actually recorded last episode, so I'm not entirely sure, and I didn't take the time to go ahead and look at last episode. But besides that, here we are. So, there's nothing to do. One thing that I do want to point out here is that we have a Build Back Better project on the way. So I'm going to be saving up money, because within 6 turns, we're going to be able to get this calipers. This measuring stick. Wait, where is it? It should... There we go. Measuring tools. And so we'll be able to build better roads. So it's a big infrastructure project. Because as you can see, Sweden's empire has grown rather large. However, the population of Sweden is rather small. It's 2.3 million. We're actually losing people because of a food shortage. But to control such a large empire, you need to be able to move your armies quickly through it. And for that, we need an extensive network. So we're going to build back better in our conquered territories. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and end turn. And the plan then is for Armfelt to go ahead and lay siege to Transylvania, clear out the Ottomans, and basically allow Transylvania to reclaim itself and become an independent nation. And hopefully that will keep the Ottomans away for a little bit. I don't know how we're going to prop up the nation, but at least there'll be a buffer state there for a little bit. While Charles will be heading to fight off the Russians once more. Perhaps what we could do is move through and split their empire in two. I think maybe actually at this point the best thing to do might be to annihilate them. They're gonna keep coming to war with us, and as we've seen, they keep burning our stuff. We're building back better, but you know, they keep raiding. So I think at this point it's time to end them completely. And I think in between episodes I did go ahead, yes, I did go ahead and check, so there's no more Russian navies here. There are Prussians. I don't know. A Prussian galley? Imagine rowing all the way to the other side of the bloody planet for a Prussian galley. The Albatross. The Albatross made it all the way to the East Indies by oars. Well, they do have sails, but I mean, imagine that, hugging the coastline all the way from Prussia down around Africa, up there, and then past India and all. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the arm? The arms. Probably not. Yeah, it's a galley comprised entirely of one-armed Germans that made it all the way. No, of course they have 2 arms. But besides the point, let's not get hooked on German arms, and instead go ahead and end turn and see if the Ottomans decide to strike back, or if the Russians decide to strike. Perhaps I should recruit a cavalry force to deal with all these raiders. And on that note, let's go ahead and end turn. Well, wouldn't you know it, the Ottomans strike forth and try and stop us in the mountain pass. They bring a force of 3,000 men, most of which is cavalry, against our force of 6,000 men, which is mostly infantry. And that's about as much as you need to know before we go into battle. As the enemy army comprises almost entirely of cavalry, I decided to sit in position and fire guns at them. And that is what we have done. Wait. Hold your fire. Wait for a better target. What I've gone ahead and done, as you might be able to see here, is I've chosen a checkerboard type setup for my army. We're gonna have to strike here. Now, horses are afraid of camels, but I figured that my experienced cavalry will make up the difference of fighting this unit, and we got the charge off on them. Why was it hard to say that? Not sure. I'm also hoping here that perhaps we can get some aid from this unit right here. Alright, the camels were forced away. Now we do have a Mamluk unit right here. I think if I can get the first Royal Horse to kind of swing around and hit the Mamluks in the side. Oh, they are... here comes the cavalry charge. I think I can allow some of the secondary army units to go ahead and fire. Okay, so one cavalry unit did actually break there. It's going to be back though. It did not suffer very many casualties. The Mamluk units are not actually doing that good. I'm going to tell the cannons to hold fire. I'm going to fire a canister hopefully above my men. Okay, so these guys are in trouble. In very big trouble, actually. There's gonna be a lot of friendly fire in this episode, for sure. But the thing is, once this battle is done, the way to the enemy's capital province... Ah, god damn it, I completely missed a lancer charge into my cavalry on that side. I was able to get the charge off on this side, and I completely missed the right side. Are we winning there? Yes, we're winning slightly. Right, it might be time to order a few of these in the back to hold fire, to avoid too many friendly fires. Okay, a lot of the cavalry force was forced away, and what remains is their infantry. Yes, the canister. I should have perhaps taken a closer look more earlier to see if I was actually firing above my men, but I was. Okay, so this one suffered a lot. This one suffered 100 men. A lot of these units suffered a lot, but we took direct head-on charges by cavalry. Now, you might have said, why didn't you form square right away? Well, I wouldn't be able to lay as much fire down upon the enemy had I done that. And square is not as useful as it is in Napoleon, where it actually just stops the unit cold. In Empire it does give a bonus though to the units that are fighting cavalry, and you can in fact go ahead and form square while the unit is fighting, so there's no limit on you sort of not being able to form square while or you basically you don't have to wait until they're... Oh wait, you do. What am I talking about? I'm a little bit tired. I just got off work, if you can't tell. What I mean is, you know what I mean. You can form it while they're actually just fighting, which is an extreme feat of bloody discipline, to be able to fight cavalry and then in the middle of all of that decide to switch up the entire formation and form a big bloody square. I think we are getting hit by archer fire from these guys, yes. Let's regroup some units here. Some impossible terrain that I can't see. Regroup a few unit here, make a straight line, and then fire down upon the enemy. I think we might do more of this now that most of the enemy have in fact been defeated. So now we'll create a single front line here to present against the enemy. Now that there no longer really is an issue, I'm actually going to call in the general here to deal with that one. The Ottomans have very strong cavalry. I'm going to need to take out their guns because their artillery has not realized that the battle is over and have yet to give up. After a successful battle, there's a risk here that I lose the general in a cavalry charge, but I think the enemy unit was weak enough and tired enough that, as we can see, they shattered on impact, and I didn't lose my famed general. And now, when having formed a single line, we're able to produce quite a bit of firepower and force the enemy away. Hopefully this one is forced away by my cannons, and we will be done. Now, I imagine that we took quite a bit of hit in terms of manpower loss during this. However, I would say that it does look like the enemy took a lot worse. Here we've got someone who he died and he immediately turned into rigor mortis, and they propped him up. And here's another one. He died so fast he didn't even know he was dead. Right, the enemy unit's all the way over there. The cannons will not stand, so I'll order the cavalry to go ahead and speed up a little bit. This one is coming under fire by the enemy guns. I found that counter battery fire is extremely pointless. The cannons are not accurate enough to be able to do any significant damage on cannons, enemy cannons. Perhaps later on when they get more accuracy, but 49 seems like quite a lot. Time to hold fire, just in case. And it is the heavy cavalry, the 4th Horse Guard. It looks though like we did lose that one cavalry unit that was cut down to like 14 or 16 troopers before it left the field. Very tired, having fought their way all across the field to get here. Now there's a bloody fresh Mamluk unit that's rallied. Luckily though, I have 2 additional cavalry units coming in to clear this artillery away. What? Oh, it was just a small 9-pounder. It's even the point of bringing this to battle. Oh, one of my guns is still firing. Small 9-pounder fired at this distance. Can barely see my men from here. Anyways, the battle is done, and this will clear the way for Transylvanian independence. Hopefully. Here's the result of the battle. They deployed 3,000 men, roughly, against our 6,000. They end up losing 2,363, which means that close to 1,000 or 871 of them remain, which is disappointing. Then again, it was cavalry, so and my cavalry force was tied up, so we couldn't really chase them down. And that one cavalry unit was completely destroyed. I have a force remaining of about 4,500 after the battle. I do note here that according to the statistics here, we killed about 400 men of our own. Perhaps the checkerboard. I think it's a pretty good strategy against cavalry. However, I think it could have probably have been done a lot better. So the unit was, let's see, which one was the one that was completely destroyed? Actually, maybe remaining is where I should look. So this one at 13, completely lost there. Attacked in the flank while I was occupied elsewhere on the battlefield. The Russians combine the raiding forces to go ahead and attack the fort. It's mostly cavalry though, so this battle seems entirely pointless. If it weren't for the fact that I have to play it because I can't out-resolve it. God damn you! Suddenly, I'm not so sure that I'm going to win this battle. I thought, you know, they'll never get in. A spy had blown up all the gates before the battle. I just noticed it right now as the enemy is pouring in through the gates. Now, I've been able to keep the enemy outside. They've gone on most of my bombs, and I have dealt with a lot of these troops. But as you can see, they pour in, and with all those cavalry units being able to come inside, it's a little bit hairy. They're even climbing part of the wall with their grenadier unit right here. Looks as though I'll be able to manage it though. Gonna make sure that we kill as many of these guys as possible. So they don't come back. Can I get their guns back on target, please? Right, those grenadiers, probably one of the main concerns here. Gonna go ahead and throw some bombs on them, and if I can move you up here, then I can fire down on the guys down there. And we did kill a lot of them. Looks like they're sending a whole lot more enemies through this gate. So we'll need to sending all the cavalry. Let's go ahead and try and prepare a defense there. Let's engage fully in the melee here and try and look like they are wavering, so perhaps I can force them to retreat. Once they retreat, they should be an easy enough target to kill. Oh, they're whatever this grenadier is retreating, so I can send the troops up, try and kill them. The cavalry kind of stuck here in a choke point, and if I can get this unit to fire, then I don't see them being able to come in. So some units are retreating, or one unit is retreating while another tries to get in, and it's stopping them. Can you just form up and shoot? Oh, he is running. He is running the wrong way though. Alright, let's block the exit. Let him not get out. And oh, they are attacking the smaller unit, which will allow this one to line up and fire. Unfortunately, not all of them were reloaded, but it was enough force the Cossacks away, and they're forced out of the castle. This unit's gonna get completely killed as they try and escape. We got these guys down here getting hit by my grenadiers, hopefully. I will redirect the grenadier unit on that side as well to come here. Go ahead and blow that up. Horse artillery out. You know what? I've won the battle. There is a few cannons out there, one cannon out there, and the horse artillery there. Once these units are gone, I've won. Let's go ahead and see if we can't catch this one before it's able to set up. I will order all... I don't know what to fire at right now. Anyways, it's clear that the siege defense has worked, and we should head back to the campaign map. The Russians pulled a trick on me. It was almost a disaster until the very sort of end of the battle, where they started to pour in, did I realize that we'd actually had a spy infiltrate the castle and blow up all the gates. The AI usually doesn't do that, and so I was quite surprised. And that's why we have quite high casualty rates, with 800 men, close to 900 actually of my 2,000 men force. However, the enemy was held at the choke points at the gates, and their army was crushed, more or less. Out of their 3,000 men or 2,800 men, only about 700 remain after the battle. And a lot of those sapper bombs went off. I'm starting to see a pattern where they're attacking, so I was able to go ahead and destroy them that way. We did lose one of the grenadier units, fell down to 9 men, so they're no longer with us, unfortunately. Crafts workshop. Cousins or cuisines? Probably none of the options actually made sense in terms of a craft shop. Union terminated. The following build-up is split between the two Great Britain and Hanover. Okay. Great Britain and Prussia. Okay. Right. What is going on then? Right, with extra cannons built in Muscovy. I got that extra cavalry unit for Armfelt just in time for him to lose a cavalry unit. That's great. Fleet has arrived. I didn't know that I sent one away. Oh, it's the trade ships. It's the trade federation. Ah, god damn it. Who has stolen this? Denmark! The Danes! Damn those Danes. Alright, we're gonna send 3 here. We're gonna send 3 there. Then we need to send 2 over there. With 2 left, 1 goes there. The other one goes there. And suddenly I'm making close to 4,000. We could have probably made more if it weren't for the fact that the Danish have come in and claimed one of the trade nodes. They've got pretty simple ships here, and they're making 2,000. What is the upkeep is quite high on these ships. 148 times 4 becomes what? 2 ships is about 300, so this is 600, and I'm making 1,400. There's a profit, but if there's a something that makes, we're gonna do a lot of ship technology to make the ships cheaper, so that a lot more of this trade pays off. Or makes more sense. I wonder, do I make the same amount of money whatever ship it is? Because in that case, a brig is actually more expensive. Do I have any? Here's a sloop. Sloop can't be. Sloop is also expensive ships. What is a cheap ship? My galley. Should I send a galley down there with 1-armed Germans? 117. It's actually not that big of a difference. I'm a little bit curious what the British did. Did they declare war on Louisiana, Maratha Confederacy, Plains Tribes, Spain, more Indians? Okay, so they didn't declare war on those nations. They just broke their alliance with them. Could be that they declared war on something and Hanover and the Prussians didn't honor the alliance. Up to 31,000, and we're 5 turns away from getting our calibers to be able to go ahead and build some nice roads. I'm gonna have to build yet another heavy cavalry unit to replace the one just lost. Armfelt goes ahead and lays siege. It is not close enough for a out-resolve. However, they accept a surrender. Very little resistance, actually. Which I'm surprised at from Transylvania. I'm not really interested in getting bogged down in a long war against the Ottomans. Now, Armfelt is safe here, though, because we minus 1 turn. Because we have a small wooden fort, so that's pretty good. The army to look out for is this one over here. I wonder, it could be better holding this than holding this to avoid the Ottomans, because otherwise, or should I build a fort somewhere here to stop them? There's a fort right here, but there would be one really close to the crossing point. It could be better to hold this as an outpost against the Ottomans, or perhaps hand this territory over to a go-between. Someone who we can rely to keep us, or keep away from the Ottomans, namely the Austrians. The Austrians are unfriendly with us. Do they have a technology that I want? I am not that interested in military technologies. I'm more interested in civic technologies. Could I find someone else? Could I give it to France? And then France loses the province to Austria. I've done this already to France once, where they lost another territory. So I could give this away, and I could get utilitarianism, which minus construction for cultural buildings, really good. +2 turns wealth in region. Minus unhappiness due to clamor for reform, and there's a lot of Maltese units, or units from Malta, which will, but an enchant national prestige. How about that, France? Utilitarianism versus Vampire Town. How about that? What do you think of that, France? Will you agree to this trade? Yes, they did. I'm here, France, to sell you a bridge. France is in a war with the Ottomans, are they? No, they're not. And suddenly, me and Ottomans no longer have a border, and I don't need to bother with those turban lovers. I don't think that's a particularly bad slur, is it? It looks like the Ottomans can move through the Moldovan province, but I'm thinking this could be a precursor to peace with the Ottomans, because now there's no active border against any of us. It could be, as someone pointed out, that it could be that the Ottomans have a victory condition to hold Crimea, and that's why we came to war. That could very well be the case. Time for Charles. I'm a little bit worried about this army, because this army has loaded up troops and is heading this way to unguarded territory. So I would rather strike and destroy him, which is the super easy out resolve. It looked daunting, or the force, because it's close to, like, what, 10 units? But it was only 500 men left. And it's that guy that looks like a very beta... It's beta version of... what's he called? George Washington. There we go. And absolute destruction of the Russian force. Unfortunately, that's all the moves I am allowed to have. This force needs to be destroyed. Unfortunately for me, I don't really have the troops to pursue them. Now, I did recruit these garrison guns, which are... they have low range, but we've seen them do some great work with a shot. Oh, hero of the army, like he wasn't already the hero of the army. Looks like this kinda becomes it of this episode. I guess I should go in and see about signing some kind of peace deal with the Ottoman. Oh my god, the Sultan is awful. He's interested in foreigners, and that's about it. He's only got 2 stars. That's awful. What do you say about a white peace? His power is terrifying and his wealth is spectacular. It could be that he's not gonna go agree to this because his power is just too strong, and I can see why not. We will have to inflict a larger defeat on him. We do have a port here where I could recruit ships, where in turn we could land troops and seize the most important area of the Ottomans and then negotiate it back to them in exchange for peace, or humiliate them by giving it to the Greeks. But I guess that would be a next step for that area. Other than that, I guess we'll do one more end turn and see if we can't figure out something. I did note that there was some other force here, or what I could do is I could do a few end turns, and we could see about getting Charles's army up to fight a larger battle against the enemy up here. But I think I've kind of spent my time, as it were, on this episode. Let's go ahead and repair all the areas that are safe-ish away from their raiding force. Actually, I'll just go ahead and... I've got money, I'll repair everything. But I do need to save some for my Build Back Better plan. It could be actually that rather than go for where they have all their troops, I would go and relinquish or take from them. Maybe I should set up a secondary force out of St. Petersburg where we could get just enough troops that we can take out their little capital region, which doesn't have a lot at all actually. And we start to work our way rather than just having Charles' single army moving into potential very dangerous territory. Perhaps send more of my spies to this area to go ahead and actually set up spy networks in these towns to go ahead and facilitate my understanding of what the Russian army is up to. Tsar Peter is hiding out there, as far away from the front line as possible. Anyways, let's go ahead and end one more turn and see if what the enemy's response to this. I'm quite curious to see what the French are going to do with this territory. I was hoping it would continue to revolt, but it seems like just not paying tax is enough for the vampires to stay in place. Just what I needed. I guess the Austrians were a little bit unhappy with me selling Transylvania to the French, their enemies. So they've gone ahead and declared war on me again. They've got tons of allies. Prussia is actually on both sides. I'm now going to call Prussia, and let's hope none of the other nations join in. I'm already at war with Saxony and Russia, so I don't see... The worst one would be Great Britain, because then my trade navy is at... then that's cooked, as they say. Luckily though, no one joins Austria. Why wouldn't they? The Austrians are terrible. Not another one! How many priests are there? There's like everyone in Sweden can't become a priest? Enemy invasion. That's the university. God damn it. Let's see. Moral thinker. Successful operations. Trade agreement terminated with the Austrians. Fleet has arrived. Oh, it's my battle navy, which is on its way back to repair. The Austrians don't really have a navy, so I can't really... The Ottomans might have one. And we could fight them, perhaps. Find their navy. But they'll make their way back. That's us. Division of labor. Wonderful. That means that my trade ports can now be upgraded, which increases their region wealth by 150, increases per turn per 2, and will allow me to recruit perhaps something interesting, but I fail to see it. A lot of farmland has been upgraded in Ukraine, Lithuania, Poland, and Western Prussia. A state is defeated. 2 states. That was to native areas. Now, Finland grows pretty poorly, so this could be turned into a fishery. I feel like fisheries, though, is... what's the point of the fishery? Like, I've never seen the point of it, because you'll make so much more money from the other types of ports. Now, of course, it does increase population growth and happiness and so on, but I don't really see the point in building that when you can make money from it. And the decline of population isn't as much of a factor in this as it probably originally was intended. I'm pretty sure famines and stuff was intended originally to be part of a system that would sort of spawn into revolutions and stuff like that. But a lot of features for Empire were scrapped. But yeah, I don't see the point of building a fishery when I can make money. People of Finland might starve, but I will be making money, and that's the only thing I care about. Everyone can starve, as long as I make money. Money, money, money. Right, so the Austrians declared war on us without a clear plan of attack, more than they wanted to burn a Polish university. Damn the Austrians. We're gonna start heading Armfeld's army towards kicking out the Austrians. My plan of build back better probably needs to be scrapped, as well as the very ambitious plan to attack Constantinople, and instead what I need to do is build a whole lot of troops and a whole lot of armies to be able to see off Austrian attack at the same time as we're dealing with the Russians. I now did notice that the Russians are sending a lot of armed forces towards this way. So it could be that they're trying to come down through here, where this force is retreating. So do I go up to meet them in battle around here, or do I go for actually taking out centers of recruitment from the enemy? And obviously this is the right answer. However, there was a lot of armies moving this way. What we could do is, because there's if they come this way, then they have to cross this bridge. So I could then take my troops out of this army, or build even more troops here, build up this to even more of a defensive force, send some of it out to hold the bridge to slow them down, while Charles will be heading here. Now, he could be heading here and he'll make it within 4 turns. However, I'm a little bit worried about this force and where they're going, and if they might raid. So I'm going to annihilate this raiding force. We only lost 169 men, while they lost their entire force. Boom. And with that, we'll go ahead and add more troops, and we'll still close to make it within 4 turns. Barely. And you know what? I think with that... Oh, damn, that's a good... I don't know what I was complaining about. This guy is a man of God. Touched by his hand, perhaps when he was a child, and he's pious. 25 years old. A man of God indeed. To preach Protestantism. To turn the populace docile and loyal to me. And with that said, it's high time that we go ahead and end the episode. In between episodes, I am gonna end turns to try and get Charles to where he needs to be, and probably have Armfelt run around putting out small fires as the Austrians don't really know what they're doing. And then also in between here, trying to organize a third, or maybe even a fourth army. And on that note, I will be saying, like I always say, hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!